Hello and welcome to the 6th painting tutorial for a Coat of Armies for Warlord Games Epic Napoleonics. Today we'll be doing the 95th or 60th rifles, depending how you look at them. Even works as KGL lights as well. So let's see how these pan out for you. So as per usual, started with the Rattlecan Chaos Black Primer. Come out reasonably well. A couple of patches here and there that I've missed, but that's my own fault. And then of course get that white dry brush on using Games Workshop's White Scar. And don't forget, cheese on toast. Boom, banging. Food of champions. This time we're going with a Spanish Manchego. On with Vallejo's Extra Dark Green. Again, you don't have to be too neat with this because there's so much colour going over the top of it. For the trousers, I've done mainly Vallejo's London Grey, but I have done some in Vallejo's Leather Brown just for a bit of variation. I mean, I don't want these guys to look too much parade ground and a bit more raggedy. Games Workshop's Mornfang Brown for the rifles, and done a bit of hair in here. Try not to get too carried away, otherwise I'll end up naming each individual soldier or something idiotic like that. Okay, get the skin on the face and hands with Games Workshop's Kislev Flash. Remembering of course to check how dense it is, because like I've said before, it can be a little wishy-washy. Obviously I've got some cleanup to do, but that's the terrible amount of black done. So that's shakos, cross belts, backpack straps, collars, boots, sword bayonets, buttons, sword. So yeah, just a few bits and pieces, and of course around the back the backpacks, bullet pouches, and there is a belt underneath the backpack as well, which is black, so let's not forget that. But at least that's the black done. Right, so I've used Vallejo's buff for the bread bags, and on the back the little powder horns too. So another step completed. And a tiny splash of Games Workshop's Cantor Blue for the water canteens on the back there. In hindsight, it's probably better to do those before the bread bags and powder horns, but it's entirely up to you. A thin line of Mornfang Brown just for the water canteen straps, and of course on the back, everybody's favourite, the backpack straps. For those of you struggling with these, for what it's worth, I use a Winsor & Newton Series 7 000 for doing these. It gives you just enough the right width for doing the straps. All you need now is a steady hand and a lot of patience. Okay, Games Workshop's Lead Belcher Silver to start the metals off. So gun barrel, belt buckles, buttons, little bits on the shakos, and those ridiculous bayonet, sword, machete things they have. A little bit of glitz on the officer and his sword. There we go, onwards and upwards. Okay, so I've used Games Workshop's White Scar to put the white base on for the plumes and the shako cords, and I've slipped corn red onto the officer's sash. Okay, so I've given them a wash with Agrak Surfshade. There is a bizarre school of thought that says go easy with the stuff, but I say no, go nuts with this stuff. It's brilliant. I absolutely refuse to pronounce that on camera, so green. But that is the plumes and shako cords done. I definitely prefer that because I have been using Dark Angel's contrast green, which doesn't really quite work for me. So I'm happy with that. a few dabs of Vallejo's brass to brighten up the officer, and Runefang steel to brighten up the buttons, and we are done. So get them based up.